Hello everyone, my name is Christopher Wiggins and I'm a senior at James Hubert Blake High School in Silver Spring, Maryland. So welcome to the Of the People series brought to you by the White House and Discovery Education. So today we're actually here at the State Department in Washington, D.C. to talk about the Our Ocean Conference that they're hosting, to learn a little bit more about what's being done to protect our ocean. So today with us we have Kathy Novelli, who's Undersecretary of Economic Growth, Energy, and the Environment. Welcome, Undersecretary Novelli.
Thank you.
So can you tell me a little bit more about this conference that you guys are hosting?
Yes. So the conference, Our Ocean Conference, is the third in a series of conferences that we have hosted. We started this movement 2 years ago, and we hosted it then, and then Chile decided to host it last year, and now we're hosting it again. And the idea behind this conference was to do something different, outside the box. So it is not just a normal conference where everybody comes and just talks. It is a conference where people come with solutions to look at areas of the ocean that need to be protected. So it is looking really at 4 areas, at illegal fishing and marine protected areas which help fish regenerate, pollution of the ocean, which can come from both fertilizers as well as plastics, and then looking at ocean acidification and looking at how do we make the economy and conservation work together, so the blue economy. When folks come, they come with solutions for these issues, as well as they pledge to actually take action. And we've traced that action actually happening. And so that's what makes this very different from other conferences.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So it seems as though you and Secretary Kerry are very passionate about the ocean. Why is this such a big priority for him and for you?
Secretary Kerry has been passionate about the ocean for a really, really long time. He grew up near the ocean. When I came to the State Department, the first thing he asked me to do was to put on the Our Ocean Conference. And so I got to learn about not just the importance of the ocean, but what's happening to it. And it is really amazing the challenges that the ocean's facing. Half of the stocks of fish in the ocean are depleted.
Oh, that's not good.
There is so much plastic in the ocean right now that if you took all that plastic and you lined it up on every coast in the whole world, it would fill 5 layers deep of garbage bags. And that's just now. More is going in and going in and going in. So we are at a place, if we don't do something, where there's going to be 3 tons of fish and 1 ton of plastic in the ocean. And so that's why we're looking at how can we recycle the plastic and maybe even turn it into energy. What can we do to address that question? And that's one of our pollution of the ocean questions.
So I know I use reusable water bottles. I love mine. It's hard to swallow. It's fantastic. So is doing little things like that, can that really help and make a difference?
Yes, it can make a huge difference. I mean, everybody has a role to play. And so doing things like not using plastic bags, using reusable water bottles, that's huge. If you live near a beach, cleaning up a beach is huge. All water actually runs to the ocean, so cleaning up waterways near your own house, rivers, streams, that will matter also. So there are very active things that folks can do. In addition to that, it's really important if you're going to eat seafood that you eat sustainably caught seafood. And that you insist upon that, and that, in terms of all this plastic, that as a consumer, that you start talking to companies who are using all this packaging and stuff that becomes trash to say, you know what, you could do this in a way that uses a whole lot less plastic, and that's what we as consumers want to see. So there's a lot that you can do without being a marine biologist.
So a lot of my friends are really, really interested into ocean conservation, not polluting. But then there are a couple that aren't really as interested. Is that like a common trend across the country, or is a lot of people really into helping out?
Well, one of the reasons why we are reaching out to young people is because we want to explain why does it matter? Why does the ocean matter? If you live in the middle of the country or you live in a place that doesn't have an ocean, like why should you care? And one of the most interesting things about the ocean is that it produces 50% of the oxygen we breathe.
Wow, so it's important.
Yeah, and millions of people depend upon fish as their primary source of protein. So it's important for all of us, for breathing, it's important for nourishment, and of course, we all grew up looking at whales and gorgeous things in the ocean and the beach, and so all of us appreciate that as well.
Because I was actually at the beach for over a month this summer. I had a fantastic time. Like, I was in the water. We went ghost crab hunting, which was fantastic, right on the beach. So what are you guys doing at the State Department, especially as Undersecretary, to reach out to students across the country and students like me?
Well, Secretary Kerry actually taught a class at Montgomery Blair High. Yes, exactly. Maybe your rival.
Yeah.
And I've met with students at the Punahou School in Hawaii. And interestingly, we have ocean champions who are foreign ministers like Secretary Kerry around the world, and they are teaching classes at high schools in their country as well to get all of the young minds who are thinking in creative ways to start thinking about how to solve some of the problems that we're facing.
This is fantastic. We actually have a video clip of Secretary Kerry at Blair High School and a little bit of other discussions from students across the country. So let's take a look.
I'm sure you're saying to yourself, okay, why is the Secretary of State of the United States of America, in an age where we have terrorism, we have several wars going on at the same time, why are we focused on the oceans?
Y ustedes preguntarán, ¿por qué es importante hablar del océano?
50% of the US population rely on food from the ocean. And don't forget that today you have to feed the planet with 7 billion population, and in a few years' time we have to feed a population of 9 billion.
Bottom line is, folks, we rely on the oceans on this planet for life itself.
This is the border, this is the territorial, waters of one country or another. So they're swimming around, and if we're going to deal with the ocean, we have to work together with many other countries, or we don't really have a chance to correct some of these problems and to keep the ocean pristine and to keep it as a great resource for all of us and a place for fun and the sun.
Yeah, sun's important. Thank you so much, Undersecretary Novelli, for coming with us and talking to us a little bit. And good luck with this year's conference.
Thank you.
We'll be back soon with our next guest, but first, we have a short video to talk about our ocean.
Kita memiliki sebuah video pendek untuk bicarakan laut kita.
Even though the ocean covers 70% of the Earth's surface, people tend to know more information about land than the sea. As a result, our understanding of the ocean is often incomplete or full of misconceptions. How well do you know the ocean? You may think Earth has 5 separate oceans. They're clearly labeled on our maps. But in actuality, these are all connected and part of one global ocean system. Ever wonder why the ocean is blue? You may have heard it's because the water reflects the color of the sky. Not quite. Sunlight contains all the colors of the rainbow. When it hits the ocean, it gets scattered by the water molecules. Blue light is scattered the most, which is why the ocean appears blue. Even more interesting is that floating plants and
Tumbuhan-tumbuhan
sediments in
yang
the water
mengembang dan
can cause light to
sedimen-sedimen dalam
bounce
air
in
dapat
such a way
menciptakan
for the
cahaya
ocean to
yang
appear
memantulkan
blue,
sedemikian rupa
yellow,
cahaya yang
and
nampak
even red.
hijau, kuning, dan bahkan
Another
merah.
idea some people have is that the
Ide lain
seafloor
dari
is
beberapa
flat.
orang bahwa dasar laut itu
Just
datar.
like land, the
Namun
seafloor
sesungguhnya
has
seperti
canyons,
daratan,
plains,
dasar
and
laut
mountain
mempunyai
ranges,
jurang dan
and many of
pegunungan
these features
dan
are
beberapa
even
yang
bigger
lain
than
yang
those
mungkin
found
lebih
on
besar
land.
daripada yang telah kita temui di
You may
daratan.
also think that our ocean salt water is just a mix of water and table salt. Not so.
laut menciptakan
Seawater
garam
salt
sebenarnya
is actually
terbuat dari
made of
mineral yang
dissolved
terlarut di
minerals
dalam
from
permukaan.
surface runoff.
Itu adalah air
That
yang
is,
berlebihan dan
excess
menjadi
water from
salju
rain
yang
and
mengalir
melting
melalui
snow
daratan dan
flowing
sampai
over
ke laut.
land and into the
Oleh
sea.
sebab itu,
This
laut
is why
tidak
the
memiliki
ocean
kadar
doesn't
garam
have the
yang sama
same
di setiap
level of
tempat.
salinity
Kadar garam
everywhere.
itu bervariasi
Salinity
ditentukan oleh
varies by
lokasi dan
location
musim.
and season.
Akhirnya, kamu mungkin pernah dengar
Finally, you may have heard that
bahwa
melting
es laut
sea
yang
ice
mencair
will
dapat
cause sea
menyebabkan air
levels
laut
to
menjadi
rise.
naik. Dalam
In
realitanya,
reality,
laut es
sea
itu
ice
hanya
is
air
just
laut yang
frozen
membeku
seawater.
karena secara
And
rutin
because it
membeku dan
routinely
melelehkan
freezes and
volume yang
melts,
sudah
its volume is
diperhitungkan di
already
lautan.
accounted for in the ocean.
Permukaan laut bisa
Sea
naik
levels
dari
can
es
rise,
yang mencair
however,
dari
from ice that
daratan
melts
ke
off
lautan.
land and into the ocean.
Pemahaman
Understanding
berbasis
basic
fakta tentang
facts
lautan
about
itu
the ocean
penting,
is important
karena itu
since it
mempengaruhi
affects
segalanya,
everything
mulai
from
dari
our atmosphere to our
ekosistem
ecosystems.
Dengan
By
mengetahui
knowing
lautan
your
Anda,
ocean,
Anda lebih
you
siap
are better
untuk
prepared to
melindunginya.
help protect it.
Lalu
So we're
kita
back with
kembali
our
lagi
next
dalam
guest,
tamu kita
who
yang
is Dr.
selanjutnya,
Rick
yaitu
Spinrad
Dr. Rick
from
Spin dari
NOAA,
NOAA,
which stands
yang
for
berdiri untuk
U.S. National
National
Oceanic
Oceanic
Atmospheric Administration. How are you doing today,
Dengan
Dr.
kabarmu
I'm doing
Spinrad?
great, Christopher. Thank you.
Terima kasih.
So could you tell us a little bit more about what NOAA does?
Karena
Because I don't
kami
really know
tidak
that
begitu
much.
Sure. NOAA is really an amazing agency. We like to think of it as the National Environmental Intelligence Agency, which really means we collect information about the environment, about what it is right now, and we develop predictions about the environment. So, for example, when you get notice that school is going to be called for snow, that weather forecast came from NOAA. Or when you get a new pair of shoes that were shipped over from overseas manufacturing, most of what we get in the U.S. by shipping comes over the ocean, and the forecasts for what the weather conditions are going to be at sea, as well as the charts and the maps of the ocean. That's another thing NOAA does. We also manage the nation's marine fisheries. So if you have fish sticks, that's because we're managing the fisheries. And the last thing, which is really cool, is we actually observe the sun for solar storms. So if there's a bad solar storm, that can ruin your cell phone, it can ruin the whole electrical grid, and we have a responsibility for monitoring that and predicting when there's solar storms.
So you guys do a
Jadi
lot.
kalian melakukan hal
do a
banyak.
lot.
Saya bisa
And we do
katakan
all
kami
of
melakukan
this
banyak dan kami
for
melakukan
5
semua ini
cents a
selama
day
5 sen
for
sehari
each
untuk setiap
American
warga
citizen.
negara Amerika.
That's good, that's
Itu
good.
bagus,
But
itu
back
bagus. Tapi
to what you
kembali
said about
ke
the
apa yang
snow
kamu
days.
katakan tentang hari
So
di
if
mana
I want a
punya
snow
salju.
day,
Jadi kita,
you guys are the ones
jika
I need
saya
to
ingin
talk to.
turun salju,
Well,
kamu
we're in
sekalian adalah
charge of
orang-orang yang perlu
marketing
saya
our
ajak bicara dengan
production.
baik. Kami bertanggung
So
jawab
we are
atas
able to tell you
pemasaran.
what's
Jadi kami
going to
dapat
happen,
memberikan apa yang
but we
akan
don't
terjadi.
actually
Tapi
control
kita
the
tidak
weather. But the
benar-benar
neat
memberikan
thing
cuaca,
is
tetapi
that our
hal
ability
yang
to
rapi adalah
predict
kemampuan
that
kami untuk
has gotten
memprediksi
better
bahwa
and
akan
better
lebih
every
baik-baik
year. So
setiap
when I was
tahunnya.
a kid,
Jadi
and
ketika
I
saya
grew up in
masih
New
kecil
York
dan
City,
saya
we
dibesarkan
might
di
not
kota
know
New
the
York,
day
kita mungkin
beforehand
tidak
whether
tahu
the
hari
forecast
sebelumnya
was
apakah
reliable or
badai
not for a
diadakan
snow
atau tidak
day.
untuk hari
But
di mana turun
nowadays,
salju,
2,
tetapi
3,
Yeah.
4 days out,
3,
you get
4
good
ke depan
forecasts.
kamu
Yeah.
mendapatkan ramalan
Yeah.
yang baik.
So
Banyak
can you
yang
talk
harus
to me a little
dilakukan.
bit more about
Jadi
some
bisakah kamu
current
berbicara
projects
dengan saya
underway at
sedikit lebih banyak
NOAA
tentang
to
beberapa
like
proyek
protect the
saat
ocean
ini
around the world?
tentang NOAA melindungi
One of the
laut
most
di seluruh
important
dunia?
things
Salah
that we
satu hal
do
paling penting yang kami
for
lakukan untuk
protecting
melindungi
the
laut
ocean is
sebenarnya adalah
actually
belajar
learning
tentang
about
hal
it
itu
and
dan
making
melakukan
observations.
pengamatan.
So
Jadi
how do you
bagaimana
know
kamu
how
bisa tahu
healthy
bahwa
the
lautan
ocean is?
itu
It's the
baik-baik
same
saja?
thing as when
Lautan
you go
adalah
to your
hal yang sama
doctor. If
seperti
your
ketika kamu
doctor
pergi
said to you,
dokter.
I'm just
Jika
going to
dokter
take
akan
your
mengatakan,
temperature, you'd
saya
say,
hanya
no,
akan
that's not
mengukur
enough.
Anda, Anda akan
So we
mengatakan
take
tidak,
the
itu tidak
temperature,
cukup.
we
Ya,
measure
jadi
the
kami
salinity,
mengatur
we
suhu,
measure the
kami mengatur
currents,
salinitas,
we
kami
make
mengukur
all these
arus.
observations
Biarkan
all
kami
around the
melakukan
world.
semua pengamatan
We
ini di
do
seluruh
that
dunia.
with
Kami melakukannya
hundreds
dan
of
ratusan pelampung yang
buoys
ditempatkan
that
di
are
seluruh lautan.
moored
Dan
throughout
dengan
the oceans. We
perangkat
do this
melintas,
with
kami
drifting
melakukan ini dengan
devices.
kapal,
We do this with
kami
ships.
melakukan
We
dengan
do it with
satelit, sehingga
satellites.
kami
So
satu
one of the major
hal
things
utama
we do
yang
for
kami lakukan untuk
protection and
perlindungan dan
stewardship of
pengelolaan
the
laut
ocean
adalah untuk
is to
memantau
monitor and
dan
observe
mengamati
the
laut
ocean.
sehingga kalian
So you guys have a lot of
memiliki
boats
banyak
out there,
kapal
right?
di luar
Buoys
sana
and boats
dan
and-
kami memiliki
We have
kapal.
ships,
Kami
we have
memiliki
buoys,
pelampung,
we
kami
have
memiliki
things called
benda-benda
floats.
yang
So there are
disebut pelampung.
4,000
Jadi
of
ada
these. They're
4.000
called
di
argo
antara
floats.
disebut
And
pelampung
basically,
argo dan pada
they
dasarnya
float
melayang di
around the
sekitar
ocean.
lautan.
They drop
Mereka
down
turun
to
ke
about a
daratan
mile deep.
sekitar
They
1
float for
mil,
2 weeks, taking
mengapung selama
measurements
2
the
minggu
whole
mengambil
time,
pengukuran,
come back to the
sewaktu-waktu kembali ke
surface,
permukaan.
send their data
Mengirimkan
by
data mereka melalui
satellite
satelit ke
to a
laboratorium
laboratory on
di darat
land,
dan
and then they
kemudian
do it all
mereka
over again. And
melakukannya
they'll stay
lagi
out
dan
for
mereka
years
akan
and
tinggal
years and
selama
years.
bertahun-tahun
So we
sehingga
work
kami
with
bekerja 29
29 other
negara lain
nations
untuk memiliki memiliki
to have
semua
all
argo
of these
mengapung.
Argo
Ini
floats
di
out there
sana
throughout
di
the
seluruh
oceans
lautan
making
membuat
measurements.
pengukuran.
And with that
Dan
information,
dengan
we can make
informasi
really
itu,
good
kita
predictions
bisa
about
membuat
where
prediksi yang sangat
debris
baik
might
tentang
go.
di mana
So know
rembulan
that
akan
marine
pergi.
debris
Jadi
continues to be
ketahuilah
a
bahwa
problem throughout the oceans.
di
We actually have
laut
a video
terus
from
menjadi
NOAA
masalah
that
di
shows
seluruh lautan.
the
Dan kita
effects of
sebaiknya mempunyai
pollution
video dari
and
NOAA
trash
yang
in
mana
our ocean.
menunjukkan
Let's
akibat
take a
dari
look.
polusi dan sampah. Mari kita lihat. Apa yang dimiliki oleh sebuah pulau tropis di Samudra Pasifik dan Antartika? Sayangnya, itu adalah sampah-sampah laut, bahkan lokasi paling terpencil di bumi dilanggar oleh sampah buatan manusia. Dan peluang galian dan sebagian besar sampah yang ditemukan berasal dari sumber-sumber darat di satu kawasan lindung laut di Kepulauan Hawaii. Hanya dalam waktu 1 bulan, 50 metrik ton sampah dikumpulkan yang setara dengan 50 gajah senilai sampah. Sampel kecil ini berbicara banyak tentang besarnya masalah ini. Sampah-sampah laut ada di mana-mana, di mana ia berada di bagian bawah lautan, menggantung di kolam air, mengapung di permukaan, dan di pantai. Tidak peduli dimanapun lokasinya berada, menyebabkan masalah hewan terjerat, terperangkap, dan terbunuh. Mereka menelan fragmen ketika makan yang dapat menyebabkan penyakit dan kematian. Karang diserang sehingga menyebabkan gangguan besar pada seluruh habitat dan ekosistem. Kapal menghadapi bahaya navigasi seperti baling-balingnya rusak, plastik, puntung rokok, botol, dan kantong plastik sampah. Pantai juga menyebabkan cedera bagi penyelam, perenang, pengunjung pantai, dan dapat menyebabkan daerah ditutup karena polusi. Industri pariwisata menderita karena hal-hal ini. Tidak ada solusi yang mudah untuk masalah sampah laut di seluruh dunia, tetapi ada hal-hal yang dapat kamu lakukan untuk membantu jika kamu merasa sebagai penyebabnya. Kami memiliki tanggung jawab untuk membersihkannya. Kami dapat mendaur ulang lebih banyak sukarelawan untuk membersihkan garis pantai. Terima kasih untuk dukungan untuk program yang menangani masalah dengan cara-cara kreatif, meluangkan waktu untuk meneliti peristiwa dan tindakan apa yang terjadi di daerah Anda. Pada akhirnya, cara paling efektif untuk mengurangi limbah adalah dengan tidak menciptakannya di tempat pertama, yaitu daratan kita dan gunung es. Kita harus memiliki satu hal di antara mereka, mendapatkan air bersih.
So
Jadi
recently, I think
baru-baru
I
ini
saw
saya pikir
President
saya
Obama
melihat
did something
Presiden
in
Obama melakukan
Hawaii
sesuatu di
and
Hawaii dan
preserved some
menyelesaikan
air. Can you
beberapa
go into
bidang
a
yang
little more
dapat
depth about that?
Anda selami lebih dalam
What
tentang
President
apa?
Obama did was
Presiden
announce
Obama
the
mengumumkan
historic
perluasan bersejarah
expansion of the
Papahanaumokuakea nasional
National
terbaik.
Monument.
Butuh
It
waktu
took a long time to
lama
learn
untuk
how to
belajar
say
bagaimana
that.
untuk
This is
mengatakan
now the
bahwa
world's
ini sekarang
largest
adalah
marine
monumen
national
nasional
monument.
laut
He
terbesar di
expanded it
dunia.
to
Ia
over
memperluas
500,000
500.000 mil
which
persegi
means
sekarang, yang
protection
berarti
for
perlindungan bagi
about
sekitar
7,000 marine
7.000
species
spesies
in
laut
a
di lingkungan
truly
yang
unique
benar-benar unik
environment.
dan
It's
tes
in
di
the
Hawaii,
northwestern
barat
Hawaiian
laut
Islands.
Hawaii. Sehingga
So
ada
there's so
banyak
much
seperti
like,
saya tahu
marine
sampah-sampah
debris
laut
and
dan
people
orang-orang
pollute
mencemari
and
dan di
everywhere across
mana-mana
the
di
globe. Are you
seluruh
really
dunia.
optimistic that
Apakah
we can
Anda
make a
benar-benar
difference, or
optimis
is it
bahwa
kind of, are we
kita
stuck
dapat
in our ways?
membuat
I am
perbedaan?
optimistic. I'm
Saya
optimistic
optimis.
because
Saya
what we're really
optimis karena
talking
apa
about
yang
is
sebenarnya
managing
kita
a
bicarakan
problem
adalah
that we
mengelola
created.
masalah yang
And
kita
to manage
buat.
any problem, you
Dan
need to
untuk mengelola
understand
masalah
it. And to
yang
understand
perlu
it, you need to study it.
memahaminya,
And we're
dan
now in a
memahaminya
great
Anda perlu
position
mempelajarinya,
to
dan
study
kami
this
sekarang dalam
problem,
posisi yang
develop
bagus untuk
solutions
mempelajari masalah
for
ini untuk mengembangkan
mitigating
solusi
the
untuk mengurangi
amount of
jumlah plastik
plastics
yang
that are
ada
in the
di
ocean.
laut.
So you're saying that
Jadi
like,
Anda
the oceans
mengatakan
will
bahwa
probably be
seperti
better
lautan
for my
mungkin lebih
generation
baik
and
dari
those who come
generasi
after
saya
us.
dan
I
orang-orang yang
really
akan
think so.
datang.
I'm optimistic because
Saya
of
benar-benar
not just
berpikir begitu,
technology,
saya
but
optimis karena
when I
bukan
was a
hanya
kid
teknologi,
growing
tapi
up,
ketika saya masih
we as
kecil,
high
kita
school
sebagai
students
siswa
didn't have
SMA
the opportunity
tidak
that
memiliki
you do right
kesempatan
now.
yang
So
Anda
just the
lakukan
fact
sekarang. Jadi
that you're asking
hanya
these
fakta
kinds of
bahwa Anda
questions and
mengajukan
reaching out to
pertanyaan-pertanyaan
your
sepanjang
colleagues
ini
and
dan
peers
jangkauan kolega
is
dan
to me
rekan
a
kerja
very
Anda
good sign
bagi
for
saya
the
merupakan
future.
pertanyaan
And
sangat bagus untuk
technology
masa
can
depan,
contribute
dan
to, like,
teknologi
solving
dapat
these issues too,
berkontribusi
right?
seperti memecahkan
Sure,
masalah ini.
technology is
Anda
important. It's
benar,
not the only
yakin teknologi
solution.
penting,
You've got to
itu
have
bukan
policy,
satu-satunya
you've got to have
solusi. Anda harus
motivation on
memiliki
the part
kebijakan, Anda harus
of the
memiliki
public. But
motivasi
technology, things like
sebagai
satellites
masyarakat,
to
tetapi
observe
teknologi
ocean
hal-hal seperti
currents,
satelit
things
untuk
like
mengamati arus
unmanned
laut, hal-hal
vehicles that
seperti
can go in the
kendaraan
ocean and
tak berawak
live in the
yang
ocean,
dapat pergi
robots
ke
that
laut
can
dan
observe
hidup
for
di robot laut
years
yang
and
dapat
years. We didn't have
mengamati
that.
selama bertahun-tahun.
Those are some pretty
Kami
cool
tidak
things.
memiliki
They
itu
are,
sebelumnya.
So also it's
Ya
really
itu
about
adalah beberapa
everybody
hal
helping
yang
out
sangat
and
keren.
contributing
Saya
and doing their part to
mereka
help
ya
out
benar
the ocean.
begitu
The
juga. Itu
important
benar-benar
thing is
tentang
that
semua orang
everybody
membantu dan
needs to realize that their
berkontribusi dalam
lives
melakukan bagian
are
mereka
affected
untuk
by the oceans, whether
membantu
it's the
lautan. Yang
oxygen
penting
they
adalah
breathe,
semua
the food
orang
they
perlu
eat.
menyadari bahwa
It's
hidup
all
mereka dipenuhi
dependent
oleh
on
lautan.
having a
Apakah itu
healthy
oksigen yang
ocean
mereka
and
hirup, makanan yang mereka makan, itu
Thank
semua
you, Dr.
tergantung
Spinrad,
pada
for all the
mereka,
work you're doing.
pada
Thank you for
memiliki
your work
lautan
as
yang
well.
sehat dan sumber daya yang berkelanjutan.
We'll move
Nah,
our
untuk
final guest in just a
tamu
second,
terakhir kami
but
hanya
this
dalam
is a
sedetik,
Discovery
tapi ini adalah
Education
siaran Discovery
broadcast,
Education
so
sehingga
you know we
Anda
have to
tahu.
see some charts. Let's take a look.
Mari kita lihat.